I think we all can agree that the surprise of the playoffs is definitely the fact that the Pelicans are probably on the verge of sweeping the Blazers. Yeah, you could say LeBron being down 2-1 in the first round after not losing a single first round game since 2012 is somewhat surprising, but the Pacers actually beat Cleveland 3 out of 4 games in the regular season, so that's not that surprising. Plus, Cleveland, they've been a roller coaster all year, so it's not too surprising. Also, you can look at Boston, Milwaukee, and say Boston's up 2-1 versus Milwaukee without Kyrie, Gordon Hayward, whatever. And you can say that's a bit surprising, but after last night's game when, Milwaukee just hammered them, I think that was a wake-up call for them, and they're going to put Boston in their correct place at least this year. So I don't care what anyone says. Who the hell saw New Orleans as a legitimate threat? If you look at their season, they started their first 40 games 20-20 just at 500, and they just look like a big experiment. I'm sorry, in the beginning of the season, it just didn't look like AD and DeMarcus Cousins, their dominating numbers. It didn't look like it generated wins because they were putting up 25 and 10 each, something like that, but they were just at 500, and they didn't seem like a real threat to anyone. But then DeMarcus Cousins went down, and their season really looked bad. Directly following after Cousins' injury, they lost 5 of their next 6 games. To me, New Orleans, their season kind of changed a night at Brooklyn. Sometimes that's what a team needs. They need a big win from a big player. He took over the game. Something happened, like a switch happened that really changed their whole season. And to me, it was a game at Brooklyn where AD went off for 44 points, 17 rebounds, and 3 blocks in a crucial double overtime win. This was really the tone setter for their whole season. After that, they won 10 straight games where, as we know, AD made his mark and his recognition for MVP, where he was just dominating. Like every single night we looked up, this man had 40 or 10, 35 and 10, something spectacular that just said, God damn, this man is the MVP. And this is where their season really started. New Orleans finished their season basically 17-8 since the All-Star break, and here we are in the playoffs, and Anthony Davis is finally shutting all of his playoff critics up. But next round, assuming they win, whether it's a sweep or not, they'll have their biggest task yet, because we know, as we all know, or should know, they'll likely play Golden State, the NBA champions. So out of all the great stuff I just said about their season, the spectacular switch they had with Anthony Davis going crazy, DeMarcus Cousins going down, they basically overcame so much adversity, and they're still playing great, and they're sweeping a third seed, which not really a big third seed because they were like 2 games apart or 1 game apart. But this is where their season really starts, and this is where I form my question: how far can they really go playing the NBA champions? Probably without Stephen Curry, but they're still, rolling. They're 3-0 against San Antonio. So how far can they really go? Well, to me, we have to take into account that Stephen Curry is probably going to miss at least the start of the first round, because assuming they both sweep their opponents, the Blazers and the Spurs, they'll play each other rather earlier, and Stephen Curry won't be there at least from the start, and that's a big factor. To me, I think if Stephen Curry is out from the beginning, which he probably will be, the series is kind of balanced out because they're kind of even. They both are missing 1 star. DeMarcus Cousins, Stephen Curry, 2 all-star starters, 2 superstars in this league. That actually balances it out. Also, I feel both teams have an incredible advantage in the sense that they have 2 dominant scorers in different positions where the other can't stop even if they wanted to, whatever they throw at them, and that's Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant. Nobody can stop those 2. Golden State literally has no one that can stop Anthony Davis. I don't know if anyone in the league has that, but Golden State has no one. Pachulia, he can end this series with something dirty, which I pray he doesn't. He can do something dirty. He can get some fouls. JaVale McGee, to me, he's having a good series against San Antonio and LaMarcus Aldridge, but I think he's just a little too clumsy and a little too dunce-like to really maintain AD on any level, so that's not going to work. Draymond Green, I love Draymond Green. He's the Defensive Player of the Year and all that stuff. He brings energy, but he's 6'7", so he's way too short. And Kevin Durant, yeah, he's tall and long. He's probably the same height as AD, but 1, he's not big enough, and 2, you don't want your main source of scoring to have to guard their best player because he's going to exude too much energy on the defensive side, and that that's just not going to work. You're going to need him offensively, especially if Steph's not there, so they can't really put him on him. And on the other side, Golden State, they have probably the greatest scorer that I've ever seen in my life personally. I mean, this man is a center at height, playing shooting guard, small forward, point guard, whatever he wants. It's literally positionless basketball for Kevin Durant. So New Orleans, they don't have anyone that can check him either. I think Anthony Davis, he's at least skilled enough to stay with him and bother him at the rim and stuff like that. But like I said about Kevin Durant guarding AD, you don't want AD guarding KD. It's got a lot of rhyming, but you don't want Anthony Davis checking Kevin Durant where he has to exude so much energy, and he's definitely the main scorer for, New Orleans, so that wouldn't work. You want him to preserve his energy, checking someone, of a lesser degree, so it kind of evens each other out. So to me, the X factors in a series like that will be basically everyone else. For example, Jrue Holiday, he's literally been playing the best basketball probably ever of his life for the month of March and April. Most people watching that series against New Orleans, you see how he's kind of ruining Damian Lillard's reputation of a big-time player because he's just locking him up. And offensively, he's putting up 24 points, 8 assists, 55% from the field on 55% from deep. I mean, that's great. So if he can maintain that, they're next level, they're a next level team. But as great as Jrue Holiday, Anthony Davis, Nikola Mirotic, have you guys seen how Nikola's been playing? I mean, this man has a green light in this series. This man can't miss. As great as they've been, I still think the biggest X factor is Jrue Holiday's backcourt mate, Rajon Rondo. Rondo has actually developed a respectable three-point shot in this league. He still has the same motion where it's kind of like he's shooting from the side of his head. But you can see he's locked down and practice it. And this series, he's shooting 50% from deep. And we all knew he can pass and stuff, but if he's able to contribute where teams actually have to respect his perimeter game, I think he's still one of the best point guards in the NBA right now. So collectively, if they can continue locking down on defense, especially with their backcourts, Rajon Rondo and Jrue Holiday, who's playing like a first team on defense this year, if they can continue to do that from the perimeter, the sky is the limit because the rim protection, they have that covered. I mean, Anthony Davis, if he can stay healthy, he's probably the best rim protector in the league. So if Holiday and Rondo can continue doing what they're doing, the sky is the limit for them. So yes, I think they can be Golden State. I'm not saying they will because I honestly think Steph Curry will end up coming back game 4, game 5, and he will be that difference maker. They're not going to sweep New Orleans. I don't care what anyone says. They're not sweeping New Orleans. But I think he will end up coming back and just putting the nail in them. But if he's not there in New Orleans, they get to rolling, they can really beat Golden State because Golden State, they're not invincible this year. San Antonio, they just don't have anyone that can go back at them. LaMarcus Aldridge can do his little thing, but it's not enough. It's not enough. So I think New Orleans have that firepower, that firepower to go back at them. So that's that. If you guys like this video, like the video. Follow all of my social media sites, guys. Do all that great stuff. Have a great day. Watch the playoffs. Watch Philadelphia win this game. Do all that great stuff. And until next time, guys, stay tuned.